can be yours. You heard me. Over 600 new cars, trucks, SUVs, and crossovers for you to choose from. With inventory like that, you don't have to settle. Find exactly what you are looking for. Have a trade? Get top dollar when you purchase any new in-stock or incoming unit. What are you waiting for? Head to any Corwin Auto location today or shop online, corwinauto.com.
Theraldson Ethanol, the ethanol plant located in Castleton, is accepting applications for a process operator. Work 4 days on, 4 days off, night and day swing shifts. Applicant must have a general understanding of process and operating procedures and a willingness to learn procedures for the ethanol industry. Theraldson Ethanol offers on-the-job training and an excellent benefits program. Email your resume to hr@theraldsonethanol.com or apply in person at 3549 153rd Avenue Southeast in Castleton.
Rick Electric wants to say thanks for a great 2022 and looks forward to serving you and all new customers in the new year. Plus, Rick Electric wants to say thanks for voting them the best electrical contractor in the Red River Valley. Since 1964, Rick Electric has been serving homeowners and businesses with troubleshooting, repairs, new construction, and over a dozen projects in my home. Rick Electric. Schedule online or request an estimate at rickelectric.com.
Something we hear often is, I didn't know physical therapy could help with that. I'm JT from Apex Physical Therapy and Wellness. With our patients, we take the time to work on muscles, joints, and exercises, all in one visit. Patients often tell us that their last therapy experience didn't do much for their pain, and that when they come to Apex, they feel great. We customize our treatments to meet our patients' needs. It's fulfilling to hear how much they've been helped by Apex. To let Apex help you out, schedule your free consultation today. Visit apexptwellness.com.
Start building your career at Doosan Bobcat in Gwinner today. Bobcat Gwinner is currently hiring for assemblers and welders. Bobcat Gwinner offers competitive pay, great benefits, opportunities for long-term growth, and a $5,000 relocation bonus for qualified candidates. If you're ready to build what's next, apply today. Doosan Bobcat. Even their careers are built better. For more information or to apply, visit bobcat.com/nowhiring. That's bobcat.com/nowhiring.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school. That education got me to the first day at my dream job, which I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from the Army National Guard helped me buy my first house. I also know that I will be one of the first to respond if my community ever needs me.
Sponsored by the North Dakota Army National Guard. Aired by the North Dakota Broadcasters Association at this station.
Stop by Gateway Chevrolet and check out their great selection of in-stock Chevy cars and trucks ready for immediate delivery. Take advantage of invoice pricing on new 2023 Chevrolet Equinox and invoice pricing on new 2023 Chevrolet Silverados only at Gateway Chevrolet. Plus, find out about 2.9% financing on select Chevrolet models. That's right, 2.9% on select Chevrolets and invoice pricing on 2023 Equinox and Silverados at Gateway Chevrolet. Find new roads. Details gatewayfargo.com.
KQWB, West Fargo, Fargo-Moorhead, and KPFX, HD3 Kindred, Bison 1660. Powered by Gateway Chevrolet, Cadillac, Nissan, and Hyundai in Fargo.
And here's what you need to know.
According to Bleacher Report, the Los Angeles Lakers and the Utah Jazz have had trade talks centered on Russell Westbrook. The NBA's trade deadline is Thursday, February 9th. They're also reporting that Trailblazers star Damian Lillard intends to participate in the three-point shooting contest at the All-Star Weekend in Salt Lake City. And LeBron James is 63 points away from becoming the NBA's all-time leading scorer and passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The Lakers will play the Pelicans on Saturday and host the Thunder on Tuesday. In the NFL, Joe Mixon's agent claims that the running back's misdemeanor aggravated menacing charge is expected to be dropped today. The Bengals said that they are aware of the situation but have no further comment. Yesterday, Raiders quarterback Derek Carr said that he has no intention of extending the February 15th trigger date on his contract to give the team additional time to resolve his situation. I'm Monsi Bolaños.
You've got the insiders.
How you play today, from this moment on, is how you will be remembered.
That's what living is. That's right. The 6 inches in front of your face.
Bringing you what you need to know and a whole lot more. Topics you care about, guests you know, and the conversations you came to hear. The Insiders are presented by Proceed. Need seed? Think Proceed.
This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
Now, here are the Insiders.
The Insiders.
The Insiders.
The Insiders. Insiders.
Rob Hipp and Andy Rickoff.
Evans, she'll drive left, cut off there, goes back the other way though, and out into the lane. She'll pivot, goes up with the right hand. Good footwork from Al, finishes inside the painted area. 2 more points for Evans, and the Bison lead 66-62. Right side controlled by Schulte. To the left around a Hildebrandt screen. Gets to the free throw line, kicks to the corner. Wide open 3 from the corner is good. Heaven strikes again. Her 4th, made 3 of the game. And the Bison are right back in the lead. 53-52. Now Heaven around a Banky screen to the right. Goes down into the lane to the right side and finishes for 2. And Heaven with 4 straight points has the Bison up 75-73. 3:50 left to play in this 5-minute overtime period. Schulte gets downhill, drives, leaves it off for Banky. Banky on the left side of the rim, converts, and then takes a tumble, but she's got a chance to convert a 3-point opportunity going through the contact. There you go, and welcome on in to the Insiders. Not often we do all the highlights there early on, but when you do something that hasn't been done since the turn of the century, you get a little bit of a highlight montage starting things off. Welcome on in to the Insiders. Andy Rickoff and Micah Bindi with you inside our Theraldson Ethanol broadcast studio today. Rob Hipp back with us on Monday. But congratulations to the NDSU women's basketball team on a hard-fought victory in overtime last night. If you didn't already hear, if you weren't at the game, you missed a great one. You missed one of those instant classic type of games as the Bison go to OT and get the victory 86-82 over the University of South Dakota. They sweep the season series from the Coyotes for the first time since the 1999-2000 season. Pretty impressive stuff, and this team continuing to rewrite the record books for a very proud program. We know the heights that this program has been to, especially in those D2 days, but bringing them back to some of those heights, getting closer to it, I should say. They're not doing the same thing those teams were doing. Those teams were doing something really, really special. I get that. But this team is having a really good year, and if you haven't been to a game, I highly encourage you to get out to one. Last night was a really fun game between 2 phenomenal programs, and give South Dakota some credit, too. They fought, they clawed, and they're undermanned right now with a lot of injuries, but NDSU just too much down the stretch. Heaven Hamlin having another one of those kind of nights. 28 points for Heaven, continuing to be one of the best players in the league and showing up in the big moments. That 3 in the corner was huge. Overtime, took it upon herself late in the shot clock twice to go downhill and create something on her own. Got 2 buckets high off the glass as well, some tough shots, able to make them, and the Bison get a win. So they deserve plenty of recognition, plenty of getting their flowers, as you would say, in the biz for that victory there over USD, and also gives them some cushion over the Coyotes for that number 2 seed in the Summit League. You still got ORU hanging right around you, basically a game behind you. But right now, NDSU in the driver's seat for that 2 spot and the 2nd spot in the Summit League, and that's a good spot to be. They want to be first. Their competitors heard that last night on the post-game show. Heaven Hamlin, I brought it up to her, like, how's it feel to be 2nd place right now in the driver's seat for it? She's like, I'd like to be first. Well, I like that number 1 spot. Got a chance to chip away at that deficit, behind by a couple of games to South Dakota State. And the Jacks, pretty good, undefeated in league play. They come into the Shack Saturday afternoon, tomorrow, 1 p.m. Be there. Get there for the game. Make it a great environment. It's a fun midday on a Saturday. You got nothing else going on. There's no NFL games. There's nothing else happening. Come on, get out there to the Shack. Make it a fun environment. Bring your non-perishable food item for the Summit League food fight, too. Get out there and support that women's basketball team. They deserve it. And it's the top 2 teams in the league. Like, if you're going to come up for any game, that's the game. You get the top 2 teams in the league. They're very good. They deserve for you to be out there. The game itself deserves for you to be out there and make it a great environment between 2 of the, not 2 of the top teams, the 2 top teams in the Summit League this season. So I thought we deserve a little bit of conversation about them. The men's basketball team as well, playing last night. Unfortunately for them, just didn't have the output I think they wanted early on in that game. and a fall to South Dakota there on the road, so it will not be a sweep of the Dakotas for Dave Richmond and the Bison men's basketball team. We'll go through both of those games a little bit as this show goes on throughout it, and also a whole bunch of other topics. But right off the get-go, congratulations, Jory Collins and that women's basketball team on a big-time victory there against USD. I think it just goes to show you that when you made the hire of Jory Collins around 4 years or so ago, he's in his 4th year here at NDSU, that Matt Larson got it right and did the right thing, hired the right person. Not to say that other people wouldn't have been the right person either, couldn't have had success, but you definitely hired the right person there in Jory Collins. He's turned this program to the point now of sweeping a season series against the perennial powerhouse in this league. I mean, USD has been really, really good for a long time. They just made a Sweet 16 run last year, and I know, new coach, a lot of new players. It's a different team. I get that, but they still got plenty of good players. Trust me. Those players are good on that team. They're young. They're going to be really, really good next year and the year after when some of those younger players who have gotten an extended run this year because of injuries get even more experience. You beat that team. Not an easy team to beat, and you get them twice in 1 year. Shows you the steps forward this program is taking. Congratulations to them and to Jory Collins on his 250th all-time victory as a head coach in college basketball. Got 51 here at NDSU and got his 250th career win last night, so congratulations to him.
Not done yet. They got a fun one on Saturday, but congratulations. That was a fun one. I was even watching it just on the StatCast because I was producing the men's game, and I was excited just by that score. I couldn't imagine what it was like in there and just the feelings and the emotion towards the late of parts of the regulation and even overtime.
I mean, the game never got lopsided. I think the largest lead NDSU had in the game was around 6 or 7 points, and it never really got more lopsided than that. Both teams had the lead in each half of the game. USD fought hard. NDSU was just, I think they played a very consistent, very steady game. Neither team really had a ton of turnovers. NDSU only had 9 turnovers in the game. USD had 13, some of those coming late, and 13 is not really a lot considering the game went to overtime. So it was a clean, well-played game. NDSU, their largest lead was 7. USD's largest lead was 2. It never really got super lopsided. The Bison held the lead for the majority of the game, especially in that second half, but USD had it a couple of times too. Just a really good, solid game. And when you look at the starting 5 for the Bison, 4 of the starting 5 in double digits. Abby Schulte gives you 12 points. You get 18 from Elle Evans again. And Elle was great from the free throw line, 8 of 8 there, including 2 late there in overtime when you're up by 2 points. They inbounded the basketball, and the inbounds play was designed to go to Elle. It was going to her because you trust her to make some free throws. Obviously, you trust Heaven, too. I think those are your top 2 players at the free throw line, but a freshman in that kind of a moment, you're not really a freshman anymore when you get to the month of February. You're kind of a little bit more of a senior season player, at least a little bit, when you've played as many minutes as she's played per game. But you get the ball to her, goes 8 of 8 from the free throw line, hits them, just poise in the big, big moments there. Put it from a 2-point game to a 4-point game with just 4 seconds left. So Elle was fantastic. And not only the 18 points, not only the 7 rebounds, which is one shy of a season high for Elle, but what she does defensively. 4 blocks. And I'll go back and watch. They might have shorted her one. They might have. She got her hands on a couple more there. Or at the very least, she forced players underneath the backboard, and they hit the bottom of the backboard a couple of times because you thought you got by her. There was a few times Nicole Avila Ambrosi, one of the guards for USD, took her on one-on-one, and I could kind of just see it coming. I'm like, that's not going to work. They're not going to work. Late in the shot clock, had to try and do something, drove down, and Elle said, nope. Left hand or right hand, whatever it is, gets that one up there, blocks the shot. She has 4 of them in that game. She's now up to, I believe, 28 blocks on the season. She leads the team in that category now, I believe. So just doing phenomenal work. She's great. Great on both ends of the floor. And then you add in another 13 points from Taylor Brown. We had her in earlier this week. Just a steady 13. And it's something super flashy. She only took 1 3, missed it. But got the ball on the block, got the ball in the post. And when she gets there, she's patient. It's not like, get the ball, I got to go, or frantic, or a younger player where you get that ball and you feel like, I've got to go here quickly. She gets it. She's poised. She kind of feels what the defender is. Couple dribbles right, couple dribbles left. That hook shot, she has it down. That little floater in the lane, she's got that one measured pretty well, and she's a consistent player for you. 6 of 11 from the field last night, gives you 13 points, adds in 3 boards, just plays really solid defense, stays in front of the guards on the outside. She had 2 steals, too, including on the very first defensive possession. Got a steal, a little poke steal out in transition. Just the whole team playing well, and then when you got 28 from your best player, when Heaven shows up in a game like that, you're going to be pretty successful. And again, she set a new season high in rebounds. The most impressive thing maybe from Heaven. And the 28 points is awfully impressive, don't get me wrong. But again, 8 rebounds. And she's the second leading rebounder on the team for the season. She led the team in rebounds in this game. Had 2 more than Banky, 1 more than Evans. And you asked her and you asked Jory last night, at least I did on the postgame show, how'd she get 8 rebounds? Like, she's 5'8". I'm not trying to disparage her, but, like, you're not the tallest player out there. A lot of times guards like that, when the shot goes up, they just kind of head to the other end of the floor. She just hunts it. She's gotten really good. She said, I was never the tallest player, so I've had to learn kind of how to read the basketball before it hits the rim, read where it's going, where it's going to come off, and just get to the right spot. She kind of hunts those rebounds and does a really good job of it. 8 rebounds last night, new season high for her in that category. 2 assists, 4 steals for Heaven. So when your 2 best players on offense, Evans and Hamline, also give you 4 steals and 4 blocks respectively. Like 4 steals for Heaven, 4 blocks for L. When your best players are locked in that well defensively too, it really just makes your team so much more difficult to beat. How many times, whether it be the NBA, WNBA, high level, high major college basketball, the best offensive player is kind of like, not a liability, but they're not that great defensively. It's like John Morant, not that great defensively. Luka Doncic, kind of a liability defensively, but he's just so good on offense you can't take him out, right? Not very often you get that best player who's also just a dog on defense and right in everybody's grill and making the game impacted on that end of the court. So they were both fantastic. And again, like I said, USD was great. You've got Larkins almost with a triple-double again. 19 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists for her, almost that first career triple-double, and what would have been the first triple-double in USD history, I believe, from talking with their play-by-play guy, Carter Woodiel, last night before the game. Fun to catch up with him. But she's really good. That's a team, they might be on a collision course. The 2-3 matchup, possibly. ORU's going to have something to say about it, too. But possibly that 2-3 matchup in the Summit League tournament. And now I got all the faith in NDSU. I mean, I wouldn't want to match up with USD. They get healthier possibly towards the end of this season. Maybe they get Mazirik back, who had a knee injury last March. Maybe get her back. Ugovsky might be able to give you something. She's dealing with an injury that's been kind of just a really painful one, but trying to rest up and maybe give it a go. If they get anybody back and they get some of these younger players even more experience, they're going to be a really tough out for just about anybody in the conference tournament. But the Bison do sweep the season series and take a stranglehold a little bit, at least over USD, for that 2 seed come conference tournament time. So congratulations to them. But we'll mention this multiple times throughout the show because I think the point needs to be driven home. Get out there on Saturday. It's the top 2 teams in the league. And maybe I'm going to be beating a dead horse. Maybe you're going to be sick and tired of me, but frankly, I'm okay with that because these are 2 really good teams. This program has been great. And I know Bison Nation does a really good job of supporting a winner. And there's a lot of winners to choose from at NDSU. I get that, too. It's a winning program right now. It's absolutely a winner this season. And go out there, support this program. Come out on Saturday. It's a 1 p.m. game, middle of the day. You'll be done by like 3:30, the latest probably. And you have your whole evening still open and free. You can do anything on the evening. So come out there on Saturday, support the team, and see really good basketball teams. 2 really good ones. If you got a young girl or something as well, it is National Girls and Women in Sports Day for them. There's a clinic going on beforehand at 11:30, a clinic there, free for girls grades K through 8. You bring your daughter, you bring a couple of kids from the neighborhood there, you bring some girls from around the neighborhood, bring them there. They get a clinic with a bunch of student athletes from NDSU, an NDSU headband as well, and they get a ticket to the game. Doesn't get much better than that. So make an evening out of, or make an afternoon out of it and come support that women's basketball team Saturday at 1 p.m. Couple of guests on the show today. We will have a nice little guest lineup for you. 2 hours, 2-hour tour of some sports talk to end the week. But we have Sam Herder, 11:30. There's a lot of off-season storylines so far. In not even a month? Not even a month past when the championship game was, as SDSU got their first national championship in school history. And there's been quite a bit of off-season talking points around the FCS. Think of obviously at NDSU, you lose your defensive coordinator. New defensive coordinator, and Jason Petrino comes over. Obviously, South Dakota State, Stig's gone. You have the coach that's been there forever, and he's resigned or stepped away, retired, basically. A new head coach there, which means a new defensive coordinator, and other pieces moving around. Lose your defensive line coach. The Bison lose a wide receivers coach. Been some players in the transfer portal, all that kind of stuff. There's been a lot of off-season talking points around the 2 teams that were in the championship game. Plus, can a team like Incarnate Word have staying power? They lose their coach, they lose their quarterback. Can they have any sort of staying power there and just reload a bit? And who are some of the other teams making some news here in the offseason? We'll go through that stuff for you with Sam Herder, HeroSports, BetMGM at around 11:30. Also, Sam's thoughts on some of these FCS prospects at the Senior Bowl. I know he's going to be starting to do a deep dive here over the next month, 2 months of FCS prospects, where they're going to go, who he thinks could go first. Obviously, Tucker Kraft's really, really good. I think we've put Cody Mauch into that conversation as the first FCS player taken for sure. Some other players there as well. So we'll get Sam Herder's thoughts on all of that stuff when it gets time for that at 11:30. At noon today, though, you want to make sure you stay tuned for this one. Pro Bison, one of your favorites. You know him, I know him. Cordell Volson stops by the program at noon today, off year number 1 in the NFL with the Cincinnati Bengals, doing a great job with them. And Cordell going to be nice enough to give us a little bit of his time today at noon to recap what was a very successful first year, probably a painful end when you get that close to a Super Bowl and you don't quite get it, because I know you think with Joe Burrow you're going to be there every year, but you never know. I think if you're a Bills fan or a Bills player, you're thinking, I'm going to get there every year. Well, the last 2 years they haven't even gotten to the AFC Championship game. So you never know if you get back there. So it's painful when you lose at that point of the season, but still a really good first year for Cordell. And obviously starting every game is going to be immense experience for him going forward, and only bigger and better things for Cordell in the future. Looking forward to having him on at noon today.
Can't wait to talk to him. It'll be fun. Ask about his rookie experiences, maybe coming into the NFL moment. Usually each and every rookie has one of those, how he's learned from the experienced guys in that offensive line room. And I know his offensive line coach is really, really good too, and he was singing the praises of that. They had a great performance versus the Bills with backups in.
Yeah.
And Cordell
dominated the defensive line of the Bills.
Yeah. So it'll be fun talking to him about his coach, that whole room, his experiences in his whole rookie year. And next year, it'll be exciting for him and the Bengals team again.
Yeah. Ask him what's like playing with Joe Burrow. What's he like in the huddle? That kind of stuff. Maybe dive into it a bit. And maybe get Cordell's thoughts on what Mr. Mauch is going through right now as well. Cody Mauch at the Senior Bowl. We will go back live to our Senior Bowl social media correspondent, Micah Bindi, later in the show to get any more updates on Cody Mauch. And a new segment, brand new segment, end of the show today. Micah Bindi puts on the future goggles he mentioned earlier this week. I forget when you mentioned them or what you were mentioning them about, but you said, I'm going to put the future goggles on for a second. So I thought, okay, Micah Bindi's future goggles. You can tell us, you can predict the future a little bit for what happens with some things going into early next week.
Yeah, it'll be fun doing that segment. Got some nice talking points, especially for this offseason, NFL, college, all of that. So stay tuned.
Where's Aaron Rodgers going? Ooh,
not San Fran.
Not San Fran, apparently.
Not San Fran.
Is that a pro-am there yesterday, and somebody asked him over like the loudspeaker, I forget who it was, that was basically on a mic with the crowd and saying, where are you going to play, Aaron? And he goes, not San Fran, because the guy asking him was like from San Fran or a 49ers fan or something. So
and then hits the ball and misses the green.
Missed the green. Rolled off onto the fringe. Not even a good shot, really.
Disappointing.
And you notice how we didn't see how that hole finished for him? It's probably like a double bogey. Probably like 4 putted from there. So Aaron Rodgers, bad at golf. Just found out. Just in. Aaron Rodgers, not a great golfer, but way better than I would ever be. So that's some news. Derek Carr with a line for the ages off the top rope yesterday at the Pro Bowl festivities. He is a Pro Bowler. Tyler Huntley is a Pro Bowler. The Pro Bowl has just kind of lost all of its luster, if it even had any luster before that. But Derek Carr is in there. Had a funny line yesterday, too. I forget what the event was he was participating in, but he was asked afterwards, because he had a really good performance in it, asked by Ryan Clark of ESPN what was going on there and if it was ever that hot in Vegas. This was the response, the back and forth there from Derek Carr.
On fire. Have you ever been that hot in Las Vegas?
Not that hot. It's probably why I'm going somewhere else.
Boom.
Boom. Mic drop. I'm starting to like Derek Carr a little bit more.
He seems like a likable guy. He really does.
I mean, he's kind of never had everything perfect around him. He's dealt with a lot of adversity where he's been at. You think of the John Gruden saga that happened a year ago. Then you had the Henry Ruggs thing as well, which he had to kind of galvanize people and be a leader. They have a an interim coach. Then they get to the playoffs. Then you bring in Devontae Adams this year. You think he's got some weapons, and Josh McDaniels comes in, and I don't know if he's the guy for the job there. You never really had everything around him perfectly, and you feel like if he goes somewhere with a really, really good team around him, he's one of those quarterbacks that he's not good enough to win you a Super Bowl, but he's good enough to win you a Super Bowl if he's got everything perfect around him. If he's on the 49ers, that's not going to happen, but just hypothetically, if he was healthy and in that NFC title game, I would have gone with the 49ers to beat the Eagles because I think he's good enough with everything great around him, he can definitely win you games.
Oh, absolutely. Derek Carr is in that same category as Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins, those guys that are about just above average where you're just they're probably in that 12, 13, 14 range for best quarterbacks in the league. So they're good, but they're not the reason that you're always winning games, and they're not going to be the reason all the time that you're going to win big games, especially in the playoffs. If you have a good team around them, a great team around them, then you can win with them.
So Derek Carr is participating in the 1-minute accuracy drill at the Pro Bowl for the AFC, the points precision passing game that they play, one of these skills competitions that's kind of the bit now for the Pro Bowl. Had 1 minute to hit as many targets as he could, totaled 31 points, the most of any quarterback participating, and lifted the AFC side to victory. And then he said what he said there to Ryan Clark of, well, I never got that hot in Vegas. Probably why I'm going somewhere else. Basically,
boom,
took a shot at the Raiders on the way out.
Shot at maybe Josh McDaniels too. But
yep.
Did you see in that game? Kirk Cousins also participated in that. His last throw, he has one throw with 2 or 3 seconds left. He doesn't throw the big one for more points. He throws a check down.
Yeah,
he throws a check down.
Yep, the last chance, get some big points. No, 2-point check down. There we go. That's Kirk. Oh boy. Again, that's just not self-aware. I get trying to rally up or tally up as many points as you can, but you got to know if you're Kirk. You're known as check down Kirk. You can't check it down there. You just take the shot. It's the Pro Bowl. There's nothing to lose here, Kirk. Go big or go home.
Just have fun. Have fun. It's Pro Bowl. Do you know how many passing touchdowns Tyler Huntley threw this year?
I'll go with 1.
He threw 2.
Oh, okay.
He threw 2 passing touchdowns. That's Pro Bowl season right there.
That's a Pro Bowler. He was the 48th ranked quarterback by many judging metrics. But he's a Pro Bowler. The Pro Bowl has lost all. I haven't watched it for years, anyways. But it's compared to all the other ones, it's a joke, quite frankly. But I don't mind some of the skills competitions. They know no one's going to take it seriously, so they're trying to kind of come up with new fun ways to have some fun with it a little bit at least.
I think the skills competitions are really fun to watch. They were on last night, obviously, so it's always a fun thing to watch those. The game itself isn't all that good because there's nothing really to play for. I think the winning team does get some extra money. At least the number used to be
$10,000 or something.
I feel like the number used to be you get $30,000 for making the Pro Bowl for each player, and then another $30,000 if your team wins it. I believe that's what the number used to be so many years back. But the MLB, you're playing for home field of the World Series. That's what you're playing for in the MLB. In the NHL, you're also playing for something Cole Ilanemi told me, and I already forgot last night, but other sports are playing for stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if I love that as much either because it makes you kind of coach it a different way. Because I don't think in baseball, I don't think they do that anymore.
You're not going for home field advantage in the MLB anymore?
I don't think they do that anymore. They switched it. Look it up, but I don't think they actually do that one anymore because it felt like too much to put on. Because the team that has home field advantage in the World Series, that's a huge advantage. And for it to be something where late in the game you feel like you got to get so-and-so into the game because he's the only player from his team, only representative, and you throw him in there and he gives up a home run or something, then it's that feels like you have to manage it a different way. If you're a manager in there that your team could go to the World Series, you've got to manage that thing to win. Because that's a huge advantage. I think they stopped doing that.
Yeah, this shows how out of touch with the MLB All-Star Game. Back in 2016, they stopped doing that. I'm like, that's crazy.
That was a couple of years
back. I thought it was pretty cool to do that. Then there's effort in the game, and obviously you're getting the best players in the game. So, the best pitchers, the best hitters, who's going to win? Usually it's the pitchers where you have a low-scoring All-Star Game, but sometimes you just catch an easy one, and then you get a home run.
Yeah, and I was fine with that. I forget how they do it this year. I think maybe it's just best record overall is how they decide who has home field advantage in the World Series, I think. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And
that's the way it should be.
The prize for the MLB All-Star Game now, the total prize money of $800,000 as it costs. Each team consists of 32 players, purse divide it into 32 portions.
$800,000 for the whole team.
Yeah.
Divide the thing up and,
you get whatever.
It. Yeah, and you got your home run derby, your home run derby contest. That's also a lot of fun. That's really the only niche thing they do. I obviously have the slam dunk competition, 3-point contest with the NBA, but NFL I've never really been intrigued by. I watched the dodgeball competition because it's dodgeball and I like dodgeball. That's about it. I'm not going to watch, even though it's flag football this year, and I think the Manning brothers will bring a certain level of good comedy to it. I don't think anybody's really going to be tuning in to watch the flag football Pro Bowl.
Yeah, as long as they have the Manning brothers mic'd up on the sidelines, so it's like the Manning cast, then that's good TV.
Mic up every player. Maybe you get another line like Derek Carr's there. Just like in a huddle. Like, hey, guys, do you see that throw? Not going to bring me back, though, I guess.
You usually do hear their play calls. I think they have quarterbacks mic'd up in the huddle so you can hear the play calls, and then it's like some of those play calls can be really long.
Oh, yeah.
Long-winded, and it's just like, how do you keep track of that?
I agreed with you. By the way, you can be a part of the program. We want you calling into the show, 701-476-1660. You can also text us at that very same number, 701-476-1660. Email inbox also open for you today. We want to talk NDSU women's basketball. Big win over USD. Just about as big of a game as you're ever going to get against SDSU coming up on Saturday. We want to talk men's basketball with us, too. Feel free to email us up as well on the Rick Electric email inbox, studio@bison1660.com. And speaking of Rick Electric, this hour of The Insider is brought to you by Rick Electric. When you need electrical work done, you need Rick Electric. Whether your home or your business, for over 56 years, Rick Electric has been providing excellent electrical services in the region. Visit them online at rickelectric.com. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Sam Herder, BetMGM and Hero Sports off-season storylines in the FCS when we come back.
Champions play here. Your home for the Thundering Herd. Bison 1660.
We take great pride in really doing all the research and the work behind the scenes to make sure that our products just work.
We have our own staff member that helps pick the hybrids and the varieties that work in our area. It's meant for you, not for somebody 200 miles away.
We test our seed locally. We produce our seed locally, so we get to see our production fields, where they need to be, and if they work there.
Need seed? Think ProSeed. ProSeed.net. Great seed at a reasonable price.
What do concussions, sports injuries, post-COVID long hauler, and chronic pain all have in common? Inflammation. At Healing with Hyperbarics, we are treating your inflammation the natural way with 100% oxygen, no referral needed, same-day appointments, and weekend availability. Now is the time to let us help you heal. Check us out on our website, healingwithhyperbarics.com, or on Facebook. Healing with Hyperbarics is your one-stop shop for total body wellness, conveniently located on 45th Street in Fargo.
Experience is what builds the future of glass at Cardinal IG in Fargo. Cardinal IG is leading the industry in the development of superior glass for the residential window industry. Their highly motivated and talented employees design and manufacture the best glass in the industry. This February, Cardinal IG would like to say thank you to Michael Johnson, Elisa Henjum, and Elizabeth Victor, who are all celebrating their first year at Cardinal IG. To view open positions or to apply, visit CardinalFargo.com. That's CardinalFargo.com.
Put that tax return to good use this year by paying cash for your next vehicle at Corwin Public Wholesale. Shop over 300 used vehicles at wholesale prices with vehicles starting at just $900. You might even have some cash left over. Cars, trucks, crossovers, and SUVs. They have it all at wholesale prices. Get more for your tax return this year at Corwin Public Wholesale. Corwin Public Wholesale, where your tax dollar goes further this tax season. Located right on the I-29 frontage road, Fargo.
Hey Bison Nation, come cheer on your NDSU women's basketball team as they face off against the University of South Dakota on Thursday, February 2nd at 7 p.m. and host the South Dakota State Jackrabbits Saturday, February 4th at 1 p.m. And Saturday is also National Girls and Women in Sports Day, and NDSU will host their 5th annual clinic at 11:30 a.m. inside the Shack. This is a free event open to girls grades K through 8. For more information or for tickets, go to gobison.com or call 701-231-NDSU. Horns up!
WeFest has your Valentine's Day gift covered with a sweetheart of a deal. The WeFest Sweetheart Bundle includes 2 GA tickets, 2 camp access passes, and 1 romantic campsite. Your Valentine will love it, and you'll save $50 now through February 14th. Tickets are selling faster than ever for WeFest 40th, and prices increase as the date gets closer. Morgan Wallen, Brad Paisley, and Kane Brown headline WeFest August 3rd through the 5th at the Sioux Pass Ranch. Tickets and info at wefest.com.
The new year brings new goals. This is Scott Zolondik with Cornerstone Bank. This is a great time to review your ag operation financing for the year. Cornerstone Bank offers an experienced team that you can turn to as you navigate through 2023. We're a locally owned and managed community bank. We've been specializing in ag banking for generations. Whether you're looking to save, borrow, or spend, at Cornerstone Bank, we find the best financial options for business, ag operations, and your personal needs. Come see us at Cornerstone Bank.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
In 1953, Bill Samuels created a simple bourbon, while Margie Samuels worked on her creative vision. A bottle hand-dipped in red wax, wrapped in a hand-cut label, filled with handcrafted bourbon that elevated flavor and remains unchanged as of today. Aromas of woody oak, caramel, and vanilla, with a taste that is sweet and balanced with caramel, vanilla, and fruity essences. Every barrel of Maker's Mark is aged to taste, not time. Maker's Mark, the star of your home bar. Please drink responsibly.
2 hours of sports talk every weekday, 11 to 1.
Well. Oh, my gracious.
Now, let's get back to the Insiders.
$11:32 on the program. Andy Rickoff, Micah Bindi, in with you. Bison men's basketball, unfortunately, a loss last night against USD, trying to bounce back against SDSU. As you look at the conference standings on the men's side right now, you go to the basketball standings page there on the Summit League. Obviously, Oral Roberts is king of the castle right now, 11-0. They have a game coming up on Saturday. With the win last night over UND, South Dakota State beating UND. Matthew Morris having his coming out party there. SDSU, I should say, is 8-4 as they beat UND. So now they have taken a lead over Western Illinois, who lost last night. The Leathernecks dropping one. So 8-4. South Dakota State number 2 right now in the conference. Western Illinois at 7-5. Kansas City, NDSU both at 6-5, and now USD, St. Thomas both there at 6-6. So it's all jumbled up. Need as many wins as you can get, but now sitting basically 2 games in the win column behind SDSU puts a lot of weight on this game coming up on Saturday.
Yep, huge game right now. And one of the surprises of last night, Denver smacked Western Illinois.
Yeah, they did.
Smacked them. I don't know if it was the altitude. Trenton Masner only ended the game with 9 points. Maybe it just wasn't a good shooting day, but that was a surprising score for me.
Yeah, I see the final score, 74-44. 30-point thromping of a team that's been playing really, really good. Now, Western team has been playing really good at home, I think, over the last couple of weeks, if I'm correct. A lot of those games in Macomb. And the surprising thing for them as well, you had to go, at home you're winning those games, but this time you have to go on the road at Denver. And that one was a pretty dominant victory by a team in Denver that hasn't been very good this season. You look at the standings again for Denver, that was just their 4th win in conference so far this season. So that was a little bit surprising, but does keep NDSU closer to Western Illinois. You're a game behind the Leathernecks, but basically 2 games now behind South Dakota State there in the standings. A lot of pressure, or a lot of importance, I should say, on that game on Saturday for the men in Frost Arena against the Jacks. Bison and the Jacks also matched up in the FCS national title game. We know how that game went. SDSU getting their first national championship in school history. Congratulations to them on that one. I'm sick and tired of saying that already. Let's get the next season so the Bison can get back on top of this thing. But in order to do that, there's going to be some off-season storylines and things to go over in the FCS. So for that, we go over to the Epic Companies hotline and bring on the guy that knows all things FCS, Sam Herder of HeroSports and BetMGM. Nice enough to join us here on the program. Sam, great to have you on. You enjoying a little bit of downtime for a couple of weeks here?
Yeah, it's obviously much slower now in the off season, especially early on in the off season. The summer gets cranking to be pretty busy with position and player and team previews and all that good stuff. But late January, early February, tracking transfers, coaching changes, and then obviously some NFL draft stuff as well with with All-Star games going on. So still stuff to do, but much slower than what it usually is during football season.
How much do you dive in on National Signing Day earlier this week? How much do you dive in on that stuff and read into the prospects people get or the incoming freshmen people have, or nowadays with the changing landscape, the transfers that come in and out of programs?
Yeah, I don't to be honest, I don't really pay attention to recruiting classes. I'm maybe too cynical to really dive into high school recruits, just because every coach, every fan will either DM me or tag me in tweets saying, this is a difference-making class. They're going to win a lot of games. And it's okay, when you hear that 60 times every signing day, how much does it really mean? And so I pointed it out, I think it was yesterday in a tweet, where I looked at the 247 Sports top 10 FCS recruiting classes in 2019, and then I compared them to those teams' 2022 records. Portland State had the number one recruiting class according to 247 Sports in 2019, and I think they went like 3-8 this last year. And so I'm always skeptical about, especially in the FCS recruiting, because there's not a lot of great services out there for FCS recruiting. You look at this year's Weber State recruiting class on 247 Sports. According to 247, they have only 5 signees when it's really 13. And so I don't really look too much into who people are signing as far as out of high school. I do go through each recruiting class just because I do the transfer tracker pages. That's gotten to be pretty popular. And so I'll track, which teams are bringing in FCS transfers, which teams are bringing in FBS transfers, just to add to my tracker pages on HeroSports. But, I'm not diving too much into who's number one recruiting class, who's number 2, and all that, because especially at the FCS level, you gotta re-recruit these guys, retain them. You have to develop them. That's almost just as important, developing these guys, rather than recruiting 2 or 3 star recruits.
In the days of that recruiting class you bring in, kind of staying intact for like 80% of the class all the way till they're a senior, I feel like they're kind of gone with the way the transfer portal and everything is. You never know who might be back there even the next year, like you mentioned. One thing that's happened a lot here so far isn't even the player movement, it's the coaching movement, especially for the 2 teams that were in that national title game. Obviously, you look at SDSU, the biggest one there is Coach Stiglmeyer retiring, stepping down. He's still going to be around the program, I'm sure. He can't help himself, but he's gone. Jimmy Rogers taken over as the head coach, so then you got another coach elevated to D.C. You got other things moving around there. Defensive line coach going to Northwestern to join up with David Braun. Bison defensive coordinator who's now at Northwestern. They lose wide receiver coach Noah Pauley too. So a lot of coaching movement here early on. Which of those do you think is the biggest move and going to have the biggest impact?
Yeah, there's quite a bit, especially at the FCS head coaching level. There's been a lot of movement in for some key programs as well. Incarnate Word lost their head coach. Jackson State lost their head coach. Weber State, Sac State, Missouri State, North Carolina A&T. You mentioned South Dakota State. Those are some significant, FCS program names right there that have new names at the top, and some of them hired internally. Actually, a lot of these teams ended up hiring internally within their own staff, and so that's always something to pay attention to. Is how much do things change for those programs I just named? For South Dakota State, I don't think a whole lot of things will change. They have a really good culture in place as it is. Jimmy Rogers, personality-wise, is much different than John Stiglmeyer, and so sometimes we see teams kind of resemble the personality of their head coach, and so we'll see if the Jacks look a little bit different. We know the names are basically going to be the same, but who knows? Maybe they are a bit more aggressive offensively or defensively than what they have been in the past. Who knows? Sac State, Weber State. Jay Hill at Weber State, Troy Taylor at Sac State. Those 2 coaches really took those 2 Big Sky programs from basically irrelevant to national contenders that were making playoff runs for Weber State, quarterfinals and semifinals. And so it'll be interesting to see if that was a product of just those 2 coaches, really elevating things, and now maybe they go back to the pack, or maybe there's so much momentum behind those 2 programs. We'll see if they can stay top 10 FCS teams.
And I want to go right to those other 3 that you mentioned, including those 2. Obviously, Weber State, Sac State, and then I think Incarnate Word absolutely should be thrown in there too, with G.J. Kenny leaving for Texas State. But of those 3 programs, which one do you feel like losing the head coach? And you know what? Let's throw in Missouri State too, with Bobby Petrino leaving for UNLV, and then obviously Texas A&M. But with those 4 programs, which one do you feel like suffers the most from the head coach leaving?
Yeah, I think that could be Sac State. I think Weber State has the resources in place to still compete. Jay Hill was a fantastic coach, and like I said, he brought them from really irrelevant to routinely competing into deep into the FCS playoffs. I think they'll be fine overall. UIW, it'll be interesting with them because not only do they lose their head coach, but they lose. I think they had like 10 or 11 first-team All-Southland Conference selections. I think they had like 11 of them, and they lose 10 of them, and so they lose basically all of their top-end talent. Yeah. But it seems like they've gone through a lot of transition these last couple of years. This is now their third head coach in 3 years. They've lost a lot of players to the transfer portal, but they've also brought in a lot of players to the transfer portal. And so I think they can maintain, their rise. Sac State is the one that I question a little bit, just because I think Troy Taylor brought so much to that program as far as his ability to recruit Sacramento, and also just his offensive genius. I think he really elevated them to a really high level. And Sac State loses both of their two quarterbacks. They lose Cameron Scadabo. They lose their top receiver. They lose NFL draft prospect Marty Mapu on the defensive side. And so that's one program where, I don't think they're going to go 3-8 or anything, but that could be one program that I see dropping off more so than Weber State or Incarnate Word.
Incarnate Word's a really interesting one because, like you mentioned, not just the head coach, but all the great talent. And I think when we were looking at the beginning of this last season, we said, okay, who's going to take over the JMU role, right? We're looking for NDSU, SDSU. You felt the Montana schools were in there. Needed somebody from one of the other conferences, and Incarnate Word did, and they were legit. I mean, they had a great offense. They had some playmakers on defense. They were a really good program, but you wonder if they have any staying power here. Do you think they can stick around, or do you see anybody else from one of those outside conferences, outside the Big Sky, outside the Valley, that can make another push here coming up this next season?
Yeah, I think UIW, I mean, it's almost impossible to say with UIW when you lose. Like I said, basically their best 10, 11 players are all gone, whether that's through graduation or losing guys to the transfer portal. I think they've lost like 10 FBS transfers, most of them going to Texas State and following DJ Kinney to Texas State, but they've also brought in, I don't have the number off the top of my head, but maybe 11, 12 FBS transfers, a few more FCS transfers. And one of the FBS transfers they brought in, Zach Galzada, I believe is his name, and he actually started a handful of games a couple of years ago at Texas A&M. He started like 10 games at Texas A&M. He actually beat Alabama a couple of years ago, and so that seems like he's that next guy, the next Cameron Ward, the next Lindsey Scott for UIW. And if he can, play at a high level, which, I mean, if you start 10 games in the SEC, you can probably carve up Southland defenses, pretty well. And so if he plays the part that he's expected to, UIW is always going to have, good receivers, good running backs. I think they'll have some good linebackers as well, good players in the secondary. And so if he lives up to expectations, I do think UIW should be pretty good. I don't know if they'll be as good, but at the same time, you look at their schedule and, wouldn't be a surprise to see UIW, the number 4 seed in the playoffs, and maybe making another run to the semifinals.
I view this as a prove-it year for them. Okay, you did it. Now can you go and prove you can do it again? It's one thing to do it one year and be a flash in the pan, and they're doing it a different way than basically anybody at the FCS level. Most teams at this level, it's grow, develop, bring you in, develop you, become better, and you're really good by the time you're a junior and a senior. They're going to be doing it with a lot of transfers, and that's what they've been doing it with the last couple of years, and it's worked. I'll just see if they can do it again here this upcoming season. Again, Sam Herder here with us, Hero Sports, Bet MGM. Let's go specifically to NDSU and the Bison. Hiring Jason Petrino, defensive coordinator coming over from Southern Illinois, spent time at USD as well in his coaching background. What did you make of the move and bringing somebody from in the conference that's had success at Southern Illinois into NDSU?
Yeah, I think right away it initially when you see the name and Southern Illinois defensive coordinator, not necessarily a splashy hire, but then you look into it a little bit more, and he did improve SIU's defense pretty well in his tenure there as the DC. I remember whenever it was, like 2018, 2019, somewhere around there, I remember talking about Southern Illinois and how if they want to take the next step and become an FCS playoff contender, that they need to improve defensively, and that's exactly what they did under Coach Petrino. And so, I think it was a solid hire. Schematically and mindset wise, and what they want to do. I'm guessing, Matt Entz and Petrino, they have similar philosophies, which of course helps. I don't know. The thing too with a lot of these hires too is what area of the country do they recruit. I don't know specifically what area he recruits, but that could have been another bonus to hiring him. Is maybe NDSU, one of the assistant coaches they lost, they recruited a specific area. Trino knows that area well as well, and so that could be a part of it as well. And so I think having familiarity is helpful, and he'll have his work cut out for him. I don't know if. I think the front seven of NDSU's defense will be better than what it was this last year because they basically bring everyone back. But that secondary, when you lose your 3 top safeties, your 3 top cornerbacks, whether it be to the transfer portal or to graduation, you're gonna have to coach those guys up, and might be a pretty slow start to the season as far as the secondary for NDSU. But I think the important thing is how those back end guys develop throughout the course of the year.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You lose the entire starting secondary, and then front seven, you do lose James Kaiser, you lose Spencer Wagey, too, so they got to replace some stuff there. Brought in some transfers I think will help out. Hunter Zenzen's a guy we got our eyes on a little bit, but looking forward to those question marks, and that's the offseason chatter, right? What are the question marks? How can they be answered? And looking forward to spring ball and stuff like that. So Sam Herder will be all over it for Hero Sports and BetMGM. What's coming up there over the next couple of months? What's going on the website? I would assume some draft stuff for you as well?
Yep, we'll be paying attention to the top NFL draft prospects from the FCS, hoping to talk to a handful of them. I always do some NFL draft features on FCS guys, and so those will be coming up between now and the draft, and then transfer portal stuff. Always updating that. With FBS to FCS transfers, FCS to FCS transfers, and FCS to FBS transfers as well. Always tracking that, and so that's been pretty popular to see. Not only what FCS teams are losing programs, but when you see a team like UIW bringing in 12 FBS transfers, sometimes that perks yours up a little bit as far as, all right, who are these guys? Can they contribute right away? And a lot of those transfers for UIW are Power 5 guys, which sometimes that helps you, and sometimes, as we know with like the team like Missouri State, sometimes that hurts you bringing in that many transfers. And so just always interesting to see how teams handle the transfer portal and how many guys they bring in and how that pays off for them.
Looking forward to it. Sam Herder, BetMGM, Hero Sports. Nice enough to join us here on the Epic Companies Hotline. Sam, always appreciate it, sir. Thanks for coming on with us, and we'll catch up with you again as we get closer to that draft and spring ball.
All right, that sounds good with me. Thank you, guys.
There we go. Sam Herder, best in the business. Nice enough to give us some time on the phone lines. We'll take a break. We'll come back and wrap up hour number 1 of the program when we come back next.
Always having a good time, but never letting it get out of hand.
I approach you from the front and kind of like, wow, this dude's pretty serious. Then I walk away and you're like, he likes to party with 2 R's.
You've got the insiders on Bison 1660.
Snow, ice, and below zero temps. Typical Midwest weather, but not so kind to your vehicle. That's why Jiffy Lube of Fargo is here to make sure you have your vehicle in top working condition and ready for these winter roads and temps. Oil changes are the #1 maintenance item that's neglected. At Jiffy Lube of Fargo, no appointment needed at any of the 3 locally owned locations. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, where you can do more in a jiffy. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, proudly serving the metro area for 5 decades.
Need a little Valentine present to enjoy with the love of your life, your sewing machine? Enjoy a blind date at your sewing machine from Ray-Ban Sew and Quilt Shop. It's the perfect night in. The contents are a surprise. Each package will include all the supplies to make a mystery project you will love. These are easy, beginner-friendly projects that everyone can enjoy. This Valentine's Day, enjoy a blind date with your sewing machine with Ray-Ban Sew and Quilt Shop. For more details or to purchase your kit, stop in the shop or visit ray-bond.com.
Here's your Red River Valley weather update on Bison 1660.
It's been mostly cloudy with a few flurries today with highs around 5 degrees. Overnight, gradual clearing with temps hovering around 7. Tomorrow, partly sunny skies and much warmer with a high around 32.
This weather update brought to you by Minn Kota Windows. Just when your kids thought it was time to head outside, a cold snap rolls in. Ditch the coat and snuggle up with peace of mind knowing that Minn Kota's energy-efficient vinyl will block out the brutal cold and save you money. Midwest built, Midwest tough, guaranteed for life. When it's time to make your next move, turn to Todd Kettermas with Beyond Realty to put the full court press on your home search. Whether you're looking for a quiet home in the suburbs or something downtown, let Todd Kettermas run the point for you in the search for your dream home. Call Todd Kettermas with Beyond Realty today or visit him at 4832 Amber Valley Parkway in Fargo. Todd is a proud partner and the preferred realtor of NDSU Athletics. Todd Kettermas with Beyond Realty, moving the herd one home at a time.
Rick Electric wants to say thanks for a great 2022 and looks forward to serving you and all new customers in the new year. Plus, Rick Electric wants to say thanks for voting them the best electrical contractor in the Red River Valley. Since 1964, Rick Electric has been serving homeowners and businesses with troubleshooting, repairs, new construction, and over a dozen projects in my home. Rick Electric. Schedule online or request an estimate at rickelectric.com.
No matter where you work, whether it's at your kitchen table or in the office, you need to collaborate with your team. ProConnect from Consolidated Communications makes it happen. You'll never miss a call when you can answer from your desk phone, laptop, or cell phone. And you can communicate instantly using real-time messaging. Confidently connect with customers over secure video conferencing and work together to create and share documents. Get ready to connect, collaborate, and communicate brilliantly. Choose ProConnect, your team collaboration tool from Consolidated Communications.
Theraldson Ethanol in Castleton is accepting applications for an E&I technician. Applicant must have experience with electrical and instrumentation repairs and maintenance of large machinery and equipment, as well as a willingness to learn procedures for the ethanol industry. Journeyman electrical license or greater is required in addition to 3 years of experience. Work Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Apply online at theraldsonethanol.com or email your resume to hr@theraldsonethanol.com.
Shop the largest new vehicle inventory in the area, only at Corwin Auto. Corwin Auto has over 600 new vehicles available, and one of them can be yours. You heard me. Over 600 new cars, trucks, SUVs, and crossovers for you to choose from. With inventory like that, you don't have to settle. Find exactly what you are looking for. Have a trade? Get top dollar when you purchase any new in-stock or incoming unit. What are you waiting for? Head to any Corwin Auto location today or shop online, corwinauto.com.
If you need any professional advice, they may not be your guys.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
But if you need information on NDSU, then they got you covered. It's the Insiders on Bison 1660.
Hour number one of the Insiders on your Friday. Brought to you, of course, by the great team at Rick Electric. Greg Rick and his crew do phenomenal work there at Rick Electric. I, go up to the shack a lot, go up to campus a lot. They're working on been working on the Nodak Insurance Football Performance Complex, working on the second, portion of that as well. Doing great work up there. And Greg Rick and his company been serving this area for just about 60 years. Homes and businesses in the area, they got you covered. They're the pros at Rick Electric, online at rickelectric.com. Also sponsoring our email inbox at studio@bison1660.com as well. You can email in any thoughts on basketball from last night, what we got to do going forward. Looking forward to all of that stuff. And if you got any comments, feel free to text them in, or you can email there on the Rick Electric email inbox. We do, by the way, have some tickets to give away, so maybe we'll do that in hour number 2. NDSU women's basketball versus the Jackrabbits as SDSU comes to town. That's going to be a great game Saturday at 1 p.m. Get there, bring your non-perishable food item or monetary donation for the SAC Summit League food fight as well. Obviously, a great cause, helps the emergency food pantry here locally, so make sure you stop by there as well. They got a booth right outside the doors at both ends of the shack. You can drop off that non-perishable food item.
I'm thinking about going to the shack just so that I can challenge L. Evans for that last phone number digit.
Yeah, how about this from NDSU Women's Basketball on Twitter? Follow them at NDSUWBB, sending out a tweet with basically like your phone pad, all the numbers on a phone that you'd be dialing, and said, what's the last digit of your phone number? And that's who you got to take on one-on-one. And you said you're looking at it. You said, okay, the last digit of my number, it's what, a 3?
It's a 3.
And you asked me, okay, who's 3? And I said, oh, not a good one to draw because you got L. Evans, who was the team leader in blocks, almost top 10 in steals in the conference. You ain't scoring. I'll give you like 100 tries. You ain't scoring.
You don't think I could score
you
once?
Ain't scoring.
Man,
unless you hit a deep 3. You got to back up.
I guess she has the length on me. Like, I know I'm shorter than her, but I don't know. I got some quickness. Like I said, I got that under 540 coming. So we're doing it.
Yeah, you're also not getting the under 540. We'll also make sure we mention that again. But even if you got speed, she's got the length. Like 2 of your steps is 1 of hers.
That's true.
She's going to stay in front of you. And then if you do the old step back thing, it created space. Well, you did until I put my 6'3" arm out there. And now I've got the block easily.
I'd probably
hit some deep shots.
I'd probably be embarrassed.
You have to hit something deep.
Three was kind of my specialty, but she's a D1 basketball player. I was a non-even varsity player in high school.
Again, how do people describe you as a basketball player?
You're such a hard worker.
Yep, that's the first thing they mention. It's not a good thing. If they mention hard worker or scrappy as the first thing, that should be like number 5 or 6 down the line. That's the first thing that's mentioned. Hate to break it to you, you weren't that good of a player.
Yeah.
Because that was me, too. I was, scrappy rebounder guy. That's probably not the direction I wanted to go. And shortly after that, the old basketball career hit a stalemate there sophomore year of high school.
Yep.
Bigger school, so is what it is. Now I get Abby Draper. I won't do anything against Abby either. The problem is she's taller than me, stronger. She'll be able to back me down pretty easily. 1-on-1, she'll definitely beat me. But I'll give it an effort. Scrappy rebounder guy at the very least. Hour number 2, stay tuned. We got Cordell Volson coming on. Pro Bison from the Bengals. Get his thoughts on year number 1 in the NFL. That's up for us in hour number 2, starting next.
February has arrived, and it's all about hearts, love, beautiful jewelry, and remembering that someone special on Valentine's Day with something unexpected. At Wimmer's Diamonds, we can help you find something little or something big. Most certainly something wonderful to express your love. Stop in today and let our experts help you find the perfect, unexpected gift. Wimmer's, at the corner of 32nd Avenue and 45th Street in South Fargo.
Dakota Refrigeration, now known as DRI, has been serving Minnesota, the Dakotas, and Montana for over 4 decades. Locally owned and operated since 1974, DRI is a full-service source for your refrigeration, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and electrical service needs. From the entryway to the kitchen, from hot to cold, from dreary to bright, DRI has you covered. DRI, formerly Dakota Refrigeration, with locations in Fargo, Bismarck, and Minot, online at dacref.com.
I think what makes Proceed win is we're different than the other companies in many ways with our programming, our simplicity, our non-corporate attitudes, and our personal relationship building.
What Proceed is, we bring back the old-fashioned seed buying experience. We're true seedsmen. We care about everything from the sale to the planting to following up afterwards. That's what we're all about, is just trying to bring that experience back to a personal level.
Need seed? Think Proceed. Proceed.net. Great seed at a reasonable price.
Why should you put your trust into Nutrisource Pet Foods? It's simple. They understand the importance of community, producing healthy pet food since 1964 in the heart of Perham, Minnesota. Nutrisource Pet Foods controls every step of the process, from the farm to the bowl. Your dog will love their food, treats, and their new topper, Kombucha, known for supporting local businesses by featuring their products in independent pet stores. Find a retailer near you at NutrisourcePetFoods.com.
Golf Addiction has it all. A full-service bar with great food and the industry's best golf simulators. And right now, they have the best golf deals. Check out the 2-3-4 deals Sunday through Thursday from 8 to 5 at Golf Addiction. Play 2 hours of golf for only $50, 3 hours just $75, and 4 hours of golf for only $100. Grab your friends and get golfing again at Golf Addiction and enjoy discounted golf, your favorite cocktails, cold beer, and food, all at Golf Addiction, your indoor virtual golf bar and grill.
Bath bubbles, Epsom salts, a few candles, and dimming the lights so it feels like you're bathing at a spa.
Notice how admiring your old, outdated, and discolored tub and shower didn't make it on the list? Surface Specialist can make your old, outdated tub or shower look like new for a fraction of the cost of replacing. Sick of the color? Got a crack? No worries. Surface Specialist can do it all. Get a look at what they can do at surfacespecialist.com.
Surface Specialist of the Red River Valley. Don't replace, repair, and refinish.
Hey, business owners. You have your banker, you have your insurance guy, but do you have your door guy? Now you do. DavTech Window Services also specializes in commercial door and window repair and replacement. DavTech is proud to be known for their excellent commercial services as on the NDSU campus. Choose the door and window experts that will deliver top-rated products as well as the experienced technicians that do it right the first time. A decade of service with a century of experience. Online at DavTechWindowServices.com. That's DavTechWindowServices.com.
Stop by Gateway Chevrolet and check out their great selection of in-stock Chevy cars and trucks ready for immediate delivery. Take advantage of invoice pricing on new 2023 Chevrolet Equinox and invoice pricing on new 2023 Chevrolet Silverados only at Gateway Chevrolet. Plus, find out about 2.9% financing on select Chevrolet models. That's right, 2.9% on select Chevrolets and invoice pricing on 2023 Equinox and Silverados at Gateway Chevrolet. Find new roads. Details gatewayfargo.com.
KQWB West Fargo, KPFX HD3 Kindred, and K224FD Fargo. Bison 1660, powered by Gateway Chevrolet, Cadillac, Nissan, and Hyundai in Fargo.
And here's what you need to know.
According to Bleacher Report, the Los Angeles Lakers and the Utah Jazz have had trade talks centered on Russell Westbrook. The NBA's trade deadline is Thursday, February 9th. They're also reporting that Trailblazers star Damian Lillard intends to participate in the three-point shooting contest at the All-Star Weekend in Salt Lake City. And LeBron James is 63 points away from becoming the NBA's all-time leading scorer and passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The Lakers will play the Pelicans on Saturday and host the Thunder on Tuesday. In the NFL, Joe Mixon's agent claims that the running back's misdemeanor aggravated menacing charge is expected to be dropped today. The Bengals said that they are aware of the situation but have no further comment. Yesterday, Raiders quarterback Derek Carr said that he has no intention of extending the February 15th trigger date on his contract to give the team additional time to resolve his situation. I'm Monsi Bolaños.
You've got the insiders.
How you play today, from this moment on, is how you will be remembered.
That's what living is. That's right. The 6 inches in front of your face.
Bringing you what you need to know and a whole lot more. Topics you care about, guests you know, and the conversations you came to hear. The Insiders are presented by Proceed. Need seed? Think Proceed.
This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
Now, here are the Insiders.
The Insiders. The Insiders. The Insiders. Insiders.
Rob Hipp and Andy Rickoff.
Hour number 2, getting it rolling for the final hour of the week. And then it's off to the weekend. Big games tomorrow for Bison basketball against SDSU. Women's game, 1 p.m. inside the Shack. We'll get going at 12:30 on the pregame show right here on Bison 1660. Men's game a little bit later, 2 p.m. tip-off, I believe, for NDSU and SDSU on the men's side, which means a 1 o'clock start on Bison Shoot-Around with Micah Bindi on 107.9 The Fox.
That's right. Redemption game. We can still get the season sweep over SDSU.
Yeah, bounce back, yeah. And a season sweep over SDSU, any year that happens, that is a very, very good thing. Let's start off this hour, though, by going back over to our Epic Companies hotline and talking with one of the best pro Bison out there and a guy that went all the way to the AFC Championship game in year number 1 in the NFL. You know him well. I know him well, too. All of our fan favorite, Mr. Cordell Volson. Nice enough to jump on with us on the Epic Companies hotline. Cordell, great to have you on, sir. Appreciate you giving us a little bit of time. I know it's life is busy for you right now, but thanks for giving us some time. How has the last couple of months been? Been pretty fun?
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure to be on with you guys. But yeah, it's been a great time. Winning in the NFL is so difficult, and being able to get to where we got this year. I know we came up a little short of our goal, but having some time to look back and reflect, I think it was a great season. I had a ton of fun. I learned a lot, and each week just continued to improve. So really looking forward to next season and having a great off season here.
Yeah, and I can tell you, everybody back here, extremely proud of you, man. You did a great job on that first season. It was a lot of fun watching you. I didn't really tune in for many Bengals games my whole life. I tuned in for probably as many this year as I have my entire life previously. So a lot of fun watching you out there and seeing what you did with Cincinnati. Just first off for you from the get-go, I mean, you weren't a first or a second-round pick. You weren't someone that came in and they were kind of like, okay, let's see if this guy can start right away. But to be a starter right away and to have that spot from the get-go and hold it down all season, just got to feel really good about yourself in that first year, being able to get there from week number 1 to holding that thing down all season long.
Yeah, it was a blessing just to, to be able to play and start every single game. It was kind of funny because on the bus ride from Kansas City, from the stadium to the airport, I was obviously upset, and some of the vets on the team told me that to come in as a rookie and start 20 games and not miss a snap is very rare. So that I have something to be proud of, it is. Just being able to play 20 games in a season, no matter what position you are, is tough. There's always something coming up as far as your body goes, but I was very fortunate to be healthy all year and to take advantage of the opportunity that I was given.
You obviously had a great rookie season with the Bengals here. Was there ever a coming into the NFL rookie moment in OTAs, training camp, or in the regular season for you that you remember?
First ever snap, first start, first snap, I give up a sack to Cam Hayward, one of the best to do it, that definitely stuck with me, and I'm probably going to remember that for the rest of my life. But I think that's all part of it. It's all part of growing and learning, and because every rep is a dogfight. It doesn't matter who you're going against, and what the situation is, and that's one that I'm going to remember for a long, long time.
They couldn't have picked a much more difficult player to line you up against first snap of your NFL career than Cam Hayward. Just, here you go, try and block this guy. Going to be a Hall of Famer one day. I wanted to ask you a question kind of about that a bit. What was the bigger adjustment, high school to NDSU or NDSU to Cincinnati and the NFL?
I think probably high school to college was the bigger adjustment. Obviously, I came in at 245 pounds, and then was playing offensive line at the Division I level. I feel like the transition from college to the NFL, my body was developed more. My understanding of the game was so much higher. So that was the reason that the jump from high school to college was so much more. But don't get me wrong, it still was a huge jump, and every single week there were things to learn.
And Cordell Volson here with us on the Epic Companies Hotline, one of the newest pro Bison, doing great work there with Cincinnati in year number 1. What's it like when you go into a huddle and Joe Burrow comes into it? Because the guy just seems cooler than everybody in the room. For some reason, he got that cool factor to him. What's it like in a huddle with him?
Yeah, he's a great guy, and I think one of the coolest things about him, and I think it is what makes him so cool, is that it's all genuine. He doesn't put on any type of show or be someone that he's not. It's truly genuine Joe Burrow. Just really cool, calm, and ready to attack. You never have to doubt with him, like, if he's ready to go. He's always dialed in, and that when he's back there's always a chance for a big play.
There's some players that go to different teams, Cordell, and it doesn't seem like a great fit. Like players, like someone that is maybe a small town North Dakota guy and goes to New York or the Cowboys or something like that, where you got all this media attention in a huge city, and it just the fit doesn't seem like it's perfect. When you got picked by Cincinnati, I said that seems like a city where Cordell is going to fit in well. Seems like a state where he's going to fit in well too. How has that city been for you? Just kind of your first year, getting the lay of the land. There's some hunting around there too for you, which I'm sure is good. Just what's that city been like?
The city of Cincinnati has been great to me. It's been great to my family. It was a pleasant surprise getting there. I didn't know what to expect, but I'll be honest with you, it's kind of a larger scale Fargo. Great fan support. Just expected winning. It's been great. Since day one I got there, everyone's been so welcoming. our locker room's great. The staff's great. Our coaching staff, the training staff, everyone has just been so great. And I couldn't ask for a better situation and a better city to be a part of.
There was a specific play against the Tennessee Titans where you completely flattened a defensive tackle. It was featured on the Pat McAfee show where a defensive tackle stunted and came back to your left side. Do you remember that play?
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Can you walk us through that? Just what was going on and then how it ended up like that?
Yeah, so they dropped the defensive end on our left side. So my side, they dropped the defensive end. Our three technique plays out to the tackle. Jonah, our left tackle, gives me the call, the go call that he's got him, and I level off and I see color and just want to be violent and help mitigate that from happening again. So I think I got the point across there that hey, don't try and loop back over this way. But it was great. I think that's just part of the way that I play the game. From NDSU now carrying it on into the NFL is just a physical guy seeking contact.
And Cordell Volson here with us on the Epic Companies hotline. Nice enough to give us a few minutes as the Cincinnati Bengals season comes to an end after that AFC Championship game. And it's always difficult, right, when your season ends. It's got to be extra difficult when it ends in that AFC Championship game because you think you're going to have a chance every single year, right? And Joe Burrow is the kind of quarterback where you feel like you got that position figured out and a great team around you, a great coaching staff. You feel like you got a really good chance to be there multiple times. But when you get that close, just what were the feelings around you, knowing you're going to be there for a couple more years? The team will change a little bit, though. Just what was it like there after that game and a really, really good game against a great team there in Kansas City?
Yeah, obviously it was frustrating. Because, like I said earlier, it's so hard to win in this league, and I found that out firsthand early in the season. We started off 0-2, and you always hear about how hard it is to win, and I don't think you quite realize it until you're a part of it, So, looking back on it, you have to be grateful for it and appreciative of getting that far because there's so many great players, that haven't even won playoff games. So to have the opportunity to get that far, I know that our team will be back and we will be back better. But yeah, it definitely stings because to get into a Super Bowl is what we all dream about when we start playing football. So it was definitely tough. It was frustrating, but we have a great core group of guys in our locker room, and I foresee us making it back to that point several times, especially like you said, having Joe Burrow back there.
Yeah, you got some of the key positions figured out, including on the offensive line. You guys had a really good line. Just unfortunately got banged up there in the playoffs when you got going there, but you still had a great game there against Buffalo, mauled them. Thought a really good game as well, keeping Joe fairly clean against the Chiefs, and they're really a good pass rush too. I want to ask you a few more questions about the NDSU side of things. Because I know we saw you at a game. I believe it was the Indiana State game we saw you at, out there supporting the boys. How much were you able to keep track of what was happening on Saturdays with the Bison back here?
Yeah, I would always tune in. Usually, so we would leave for the airport at 2:00, and the home games start at 2:30. So I'd be watching it on my phone and keeping tabs. And a lot of guys on the team are really good friends of mine, some of my best friends, and just always checking in with them, seeing how everything's going, and a great season. We came up a little bit short in the end there, but it was fun to watch and just see guys come out and just compete every single day and see guys step up. Really bright future at NDSU for sure.
I think you looked pretty good in the orange and black there with the stripes, the Bengal colors. I think Cody Malk would look even better with that red hair up the back of the helmet. I think he'd look phenomenal there. You got a great offensive line already, but you got any pull in the organization? Can we get Cody Malk on the Bengals too here, Cordell?
That would be phenomenal to be able to play with Cody again. One of my all-time favorite humans. Just a really, really positive, Just great person, and I'm so happy that he's having a great week down in Mobile and turning some heads because I know he can play at this level, and really excited for him. He's got a really bright future.
Any recent contact with Cody Mauk and Nash Jensen, who was at the NFLPA Bowl, just giving them some advice as you went through the process last year?
Yeah, Nash and I talked when he was at when he was in LA at the NFLPA Bowl, and then Cody and I talk all the time. We had a group chat together, me and him and a couple of other guys, and we're always giving each other crap and just picking on each other in there, and we've been really close over the last 2 years. So Cody and I are in contact quite frequently.
Is there a name of the group chat that is radio friendly?
Yeah, it's just called War Daddies. You gotta be a special breed to be a war daddy. It's something we always kind of prided ourselves on, and as you can imagine, Jake Kubis is in that
Yep.
in that chat as well. Just guys that are willing to stick their face in there and do whatever it takes. Really fortunate for the guys in that group chat, and we have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I'm sure that group chat has a couple of funny texts and memes every once in a while, too. No doubt about that one. Before we let you go, this is the important question. I buried the lead for you, Cordell. What's the best spot for Skyline Chili? How much Skyline Chili have you had out there in Cincinnati?
I'll be honest with you. I've only had it one time. I don't know. I'm not a fan, if I'm being honest. It's okay. I think a part of it was that it was extremely hyped up. Everyone talks about how good it is, and I was just let down. So I'm not a huge advocate for Skyline Chili. I know that when people come to games or to visit, we always encourage them to try it. But for me, it's definitely not a place that I enjoy to go.
So then what's the best food you've had in Cincinnati? You got to be eating well.
For sure. There's a steakhouse that's called Jeff Ruby's. It's kind of like the staple Cincinnati steakhouse. We go there quite often. Every Thursday night we have O-line dinner. So we've gone there a few times and really have checked out some really nice restaurants in Cincinnati. And then there's a couple places that I go to quite often. One of them is called Swing Line. It's in a suburb called Madeira. It's right by where I'm at, and it's a nice family friendly place. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like Lucky 13s in Fargo.
Okay.
That feel, that atmosphere, that type of food. And then there's a place called the National Exemplar. That's a nice place too. Maybe comparable to like a Doolittle's in Fargo. Just great specials there. I know that Ted Karras, our center, and I have gone there a few times. On Monday night, they have oyster night. So with Ted being, with the Patriots for so long out there in Boston, he got used to eating some oysters. So he's taken me there several times. A couple great spots. There's some great dining in Cincinnati, and every time I go out, I'm trying to find something new, and it's never a surprise when I find a great place there.
No shock. The longest answer of the entire conversation was about food with Cordell Volson. Not surprised one bit. Hey, man, it's been a lot of fun following you. Thanks for the time. Appreciate it. I know this is going to be a fun offseason for you, too, looking to get better and getting right back after things there, but been fun watching you. Thanks for the time, and looking forward maybe to seeing you back in Fargo at some point.
Yeah, of course. We will definitely run into each other, I'm sure. I appreciate everything you guys do for NDSU and for NDSU football. Something that holds a special place in my heart, so I appreciate you guys.
There you go, man. Cordell Volson, the pride of Balfour, North Dakota. Nice enough to stop by and give us some time. And not a Skyline Chili guy. I wouldn't have guessed it. Now, I've never had it. I don't really know how it tastes or anything, but I would have thought Skyline Chili seems like it's right up Cordell's alley.
I am a fan of chili, so at some point, maybe I'll make my way to Cincinnati and try the Skyline chili. I've always heard about it. I'm not sure what is so special about it. Like, for most part, I think chili's chili. It's really hard to mess up chili. I think a lot of them are just, like, good.
It's like chili dogs. It's chili on, like, spaghetti noodles and stuff. It's kind of, now, it's obviously something different with the chili. It's done a little bit differently, but I would not have guessed not a Skyline chili guy. It seemed like it was right up Cordell's alley, but
I bet Kevin's...
That's breaking news, really.
Yeah. Kevin's chili from The Office is probably up there, too.
That's pretty good, too. That's one of my favorite scenes from that show. All time, he just drops the whole bucket of chili on the ground. There you go, Cordell Volson. It'll be really fun to see what he does for an encore, because year one's year one, right? And his year one was about as good as you could possibly do. What do you have for an encore to be able to take that next step and cement yourself as, he's got a chance here to be one of the best interior linemen in the league over the next couple of years. Like, can you take those steps forward? To start every game as a rookie and just have every snap as a rookie is very rare, even for first-round picks. They don't all start right away. To do that as a guy in the fourth round was impressive, and to see what he can do. Can you do this again the next year and the year after that? Can you get better? Can you keep Joe Burrow clean? And then you get to the point of, like, when his contract's up, which is, again, this is way down the road stuff, but you're getting to the point then of he might be one of the better interior linemen in the league in a long, lengthy career, which would be awesome for him.
That would be awesome. And maybe he could, not saying that he has to leave the Bengals, but I know the Vikings have a ton of open spots for offensive guard. So
I said that he'd look really good. Cody Mauch would look really good in a Bengals uniform, like even better in purple. He looks like a Viking. Got the long hair. It's perfect.
That's what. Well, T.J. Hawkinson already looks like a Viking too.
Yeah, so let's get a couple of them. Why do you need to limit yourself to one? Get more of the guys that look like Vikings.
It is the Minnesota Vikings, not the Viking. So exactly. We need the Vikings on the team.
We need multiple of them. So Cody Mauch, left guard, right guard, whatever you want. Put him wherever. You can play everywhere. Put him all 5 positions. I don't care. Just put him on the offensive line for the Vice. Keep Kirk clean. That should be the motto for the offseason.
Keep Kirk clean.
Keep Kirk clean. Keep Kirk clean. Give him time to throw so he can find Jefferson instead of having to check the ball down on 4th and 8 for 3 yards when the season's on the line. Get the ball down the field to Jefferson. Keep Kirk clean. And maybe also stop somebody. Anybody.
No, defense. We don't have to do that. We were the 4th ranked defense by PFF.
Pro Football Focus, 4th ranked defense.
Perfect.
There you go. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Plenty left to get to here in hour number 2, including the future goggles from Micah Bindi. He predicts the future of the sports world. We'll do that here in hour number 2 later on in the program. Again, this show, as always, brought to you by the great folks there at Proceed, home of the right choice and right stuff programs, and online at proceed.net. If you need seed, think Proceed. Back with more next.
Your home for the Thundering Herd.
Hey, you got any left-handed football?
Bison 1660.
So most companies claim they have good people, good product, good customer service, but the question is how often. We go the extra mile to take care of our dealers and our growers, and more importantly, their families and their customers.
Proceed tries to bring a family-like experience. Farmers, we want to understand what their challenges are. We also want to bring products to them that help them overcome those challenges so that they can be as successful as possible.
Need seed? Think Proceed. Proceed.net. Great seed at a reasonable price.
Hi, I'm Madison, and a doctor of physical therapy and bride-to-be, and I've got some important news to share with all of my fellow brides-to-be. The eGym at Apex is the best way I found to get into shape for the big day. It's a quick 22-minute weight training workout that I've started, and in just 2 months, my body fat percentage has dropped and my muscle mass is up. Follow my journey on our eGym at Apex page on Instagram and Facebook, or give us a call at 701-639-0808.
Are you an electrician? Are you looking for a change? JDP Electric is looking for commercial, industrial, and service electricians. JDP is looking for both journeyman and apprentice electricians. You could start your career today with a family-owned and operated business who's been serving our community for over 20 years. Full-time positions available with great pay and benefits. Call 701-232-1991 or email info@jdpelectric.net. Start your new tomorrow today. Come be a part of the JDP difference.
If you've been thinking about updating your kitchen or maybe some bathrooms, you'll want to listen up. Northern Stone has a room full of full slab pieces of granite and quartz, and they are all on sale, many up to 50% off. These will go fast, and it's easy and warm inside, and the variety of colors available is exciting. Shop the gorgeous selection of full slab single granite and quartz pieces, all in stock and available now, with discounts up to 50% off now at Northern Stone on Main Avenue just before the fairgrounds.
Dakota Refrigeration, now known as DRI, has been serving Minnesota, the Dakotas, and Montana for over 4 decades. Locally owned and operated since 1974, DRI is a full-service source for your refrigeration, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and electrical service needs. From the entryway to the kitchen, from hot to cold, from dreary to bright, DRI has you covered. DRI, formerly Dakota Refrigeration, with locations in Fargo, Bismarck, and Minot, online at dacref.com.
Here's your Red River Valley weather update on Bison 1660.
A chance of flurries today, much colder with a high of 5 degrees. Wind chill values as low as 28 below. And overnight, partly cloudy, then gradual clearing with temperatures remaining steady around 7 degrees.
This weather update brought to you by Minn Kota Windows. Just when your kids thought it was time to head outside, a cold snap rolls in. Ditch the coat and snuggle up with peace of mind, knowing that Minn Kota's energy-efficient vinyl will block out the brutal cold and save you money. Midwest built, Midwest tough, guaranteed for life.
In 1953, Bill Samuels created a simple bourbon, while Margie Samuels worked on her creative vision. A bottle hand-dipped in red wax, wrapped in a hand-cut label, filled with handcrafted bourbon that elevated flavor and remains unchanged as of today. Aromas of woody oak, caramel, and vanilla, with a taste that is sweet and balanced with caramel, vanilla, and fruity essences. Every barrel of Maker's Mark is aged to taste, not time. Maker's Mark, the star of your home bar. Please drink responsibly.
Rice Companies understands that strong buildings and strong communities start with strong connections. They know the importance of every bolt, every beam, and every handshake. Every connection must be strong. When you work with Rice Companies, you're building on more than concrete and steel. You're building on knowledge and expertise with people you can trust. People who value your investment as much as you do. Connect with Rice Companies, your local Butler builder, and experience the difference strong connections can make for your business. Learn more and see career opportunities at ricecompanies.com.
From the court to the field and everywhere in between. Your home for NDSU athletics. Bison 1660.
$12:28 on the program. Welcome back in. It is The Insiders. I have a couple of emails that came in yesterday and today. Didn't get to all of them yesterday. Had one from Matt Entsian on the email inbox, not Matt Entz. Talking about our conversation yesterday with Kendra Kelly, sophomore star of NDSU track and mother as well. Phenomenal story. If you didn't listen to our conversation with Kendra, podcast it. On the website, on our social media pages, anywhere you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, it's out there for you. You can find it. Highly encourage you to listen to it. It was a really cool story, inspirational as well, and one of those things where it's just, I didn't know about it, and I'm really happy I found out about it. She was also great to talk to, very gracious and letting us inside the story a little bit of becoming a mother, coming back to the track team still, and now just dominating the track circuit with NDSU with the sprinting. They got the Bison Open that actually starts today and then also goes on tomorrow, and she's trying to tie or break another school record because it's what you do, I guess, when you're Kendra Kelly and you're just that talented and a beast. But Matt Ensian emailing in said, loved hearing this story. It's important for everyone to know having children young doesn't mean the end of your path. It just makes that path a bit more winding. My parents had me in their last year of college when my dad was playing football at Morehead State. I grew up in a married student housing area on campus all over the old NCC as they achieved master's and doctorate degrees, living among students, I should say, on college campuses for the first 15 years of my life is something I wouldn't trade for anything. And Matt Ensian sending that one in. Loved it. It was a good conversation. Kendra was great to talk with. Probably have her on again at some point as this season continues for NDSU track, and just a really cool story. And having a kid is obviously, I'm a guy, I'm not going to know anything about it, but it's a life-changing experience there. And for many reasons, in the comeback and everything she's been able to accomplish here in her career, and it's not over. She's only a sophomore. She's got more years to come back, too. It's going to be really fun to kind of follow her journey here.
It's always tough to be just a mother in general. It's not easy to be a parent, a mother, or a dad. It's not the easiest task, but to compile that, being a student and being a student athlete and being a mother, that's a hard trifecta to complete there, and an insane feat and super impressive.
Got that track family around her, I know that, and Stevie Keller, I'm sure, and the whole coaching staff and all the teammates doing a great job helping take care of.
And we learned that Braden was in a race already, so it's in his blood.
And she told us she found out she was pregnant with him before a meet and ran her fastest time ever. So he was with her on the fastest run, so it runs in the blood,
It's right there.
It's right there. Totally true. So that was a really fun conversation, and thanks to Matt for emailing in. Didn't get to that one yesterday. Wanted to make sure we read it just a little bit. Also, Steve Zaski texting in, said, awesome with that win last night for NDSU women's basketball. Couldn't agree more. Saw Steve out at the game. He's been at a bunch of them. He's seen how great this team is. If you haven't been to a game, highly encourage it. Get out there. It's a fun team to watch. It's a really fun brand of basketball, and I think this game's going to be really competitive. I know it wasn't the first time. SDSU down in Brookings, they blitzed the Bison out early, got to a 17-3 lead early on, something like that, and really didn't look back. It was a 30-something point win for SDSU. I don't think it's going to be quite that game. I'm not saying NDSU is going to win it, not making that prediction. SDSU is the favorite. They're a phenomenal program. They've done what they've done. Deserve that respect. But NDSU, there was a couple of factors. One, you're going on the road. Two, we went down day of game. The bus going down, the heater and the thing broke. We were freezing, like icicles going down there. Had to get off the bus a couple hours to kind of warm up and get ready for a game, like legitimately warm up. I think that kind of played a factor. And also, the SDSU played extremely well. I'm not taking anything away from what they did. But I just think this team, that game is not indicative of how many strides they have taken this year. I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do. Inside the home venue, where they have been undefeated this season, I think it's going to be a good game. And hopefully it comes down to that fourth quarter. That's probably the goal, is make this thing a fourth quarter game, and then down the stretch, just rely on those players that have come through for you. Heaven Hamling, L. Evans, Taylor Brown, Banky as well. I thought Banky was pretty good the first time up against SDSU. Abby Graham was really good. Had like 18 points, something like that, against SDSU the first time. So hopefully you get Abby Graham off the bench, giving you some good minutes and contributing a little bit. So I think it's going to be a great game. Get out there on Saturday and make sure you support this Bison women's basketball team, because they definitely deserve that respect this year as a number 2 team right now in the league, and get the top 2 teams in the league there on Saturday at 1 p.m. And the men, huge game for them coming up on Saturday as well at 2 p.m. down there in Brookings.
Well, yeah, they don't want to keep falling down the standings. Right now they're in position to keep fighting for that 2 seed, which is coveted. If you get those top 2 seeds in either the men's or the women's tournament, you get that extra day of rest. So we still have some games at home still, but this one's really important. SDSU, according to Tom Neiman, who we had on the Summit League shoot-around, they're getting healthier.
Yep.
And they're led by Zeke Mayo. Zeke Mayo leads them in pretty much all categories except blocks. Points, assists, rebounds, and steals. He averages over a steal a game. He averages 17 points. Damari Wheeler-Thomas, Jakari White, and Bowden Skunberg did a good job of limiting him the last time out in Fargo. He had not even close to his average. I believe he had just over 10 points and on a ton of shots.
By the way, Matthew Moore is a little bit of a coming-out party for SDSU. He's starting to play better, transfer into SDSU's program from Wisconsin, one of the best high school players in the state of South Dakota. That's saying something. They've had quite a few pretty good ones. Really good game there against UND. Now, UND's not been very good this year. I get that. A lot of players have had good games against them. We just saw Grant Nelson was, 36 points?
36
points. Career high for him against UND. But Matthew Moores did score 23 points, 5 rebounds, went 8 of 9 from the field. Also 4 of 5 from three-point range. That's the threat that he has, that dual threat of inside and outside. And then also added in 3 assists, a steal, and a block. So that was probably his best game as a Jack. The player that you knew would play a factor at some point this season. And another player you got to deal with, him and Zeke Mayo seem to be kind of that 1-2 punch. Apple's not coming back this year. Had a bunch of injuries on that SDSU team, but starting to get a little bit healthier here towards the end of the season. One more text message we had come in on our text line, 701-476-1660. Be from Dan via the text line. says, until this year, I had never been to a Bison women's basketball game. Never. But I've been to 5 or 6 games this year, and they have far exceeded any expectations I had, and I'll be there tomorrow, too. Dan, appreciate you. That's all I can say.
Heck yeah.
There you go, Dan. And I think there's a lot of people who have had that sentiment. I got a lot of friends who have daughters who are just, 2, 3, 4, 5. Some of them are even as older as 7, 8, 9, and never been to a game, or they're starting to play basketball a little bit, getting to the age where kids start to play sports. And it's usually like soccer where everyone's just in a mob running towards the ball, right? But starting to play some stuff like that, and said, let's bring them to a game. And they've come to a couple of games, had a great time. The kids have loved it. They've been hooked. So if you got any daughters, bring them to the game. It's National Girls and Women in Sports Day, too. They've got a clinic going on earlier in the day, so you can come, bring them to the clinic. It's free for kids, for girls grades K through 8, so they can go to the clinic. They can meet NDSU female athletes, student athletes. There's a headband you get, an NDSU headband. You get a ticket to the game, too, for the kids. So there's a lot of reasons to do it. Come to the game. Let's pack the place. The kids deserve it. The teams deserve it, both of them, NDSU and SDSU. And, again, it's pretty cheap entertainment, and you can see a really, really good basketball game. Middle of the day on a Saturday. Got your whole night after, so just come out to the game. There's a lot of reasons to do it.
Whole night to celebrate, too.
Yeah, exactly.
There's one thing to celebrate right now.
Breaking news. Uh-oh. I don't even know this one. Micah Bindi. What do we got?
From Jim Nagy. Breaking news from Jim Nagy. North Dakota State's Cody Mauk has been voted National Team's Offensive Line Player of the Week. The vote was by his peers across from him, the National Defensive Line and linebackers. Congratulations to Cody Mauk, another NDSU Player of the Week.
Where's that crowd cheer sound effect?
Sources. Not there.
Not there. That's not the right one. There we go. There you go. Congratulations, Cody Mauk, on that breaking news. That's awesome. They do that every year, and that's really cool to hear that Jim Nagy announcing there that Cody Mauk, I should say. I just had Cordell on. He's great. Cody Mauk has been voted the national team's offensive lineman practice player of the week, and like you said, that's voted on by the peers going against him. So the guys that would be, I would guess, on the American team's defensive line that would be going against the national team's offensive line, however they do it there. Basically, the guys going against him voted on his peers, actually in the national defensive lineman and linebackers group.
Same team goes against each other.
Same team goes against each other there in practice. So the guys going up against him every single day in practice, and all the other offensive linemen on the national team said, yeah, it was that guy. The guy with the red hair and that Bison helmet, that one has been killing me all week long. Practice player of the week. If you remember, Christian Watson.
Dylan Radins, too.
3
straight years.
3 straight years. Bison practice players of the week, and that helped. Christian shot up quite a bit in the draft process. Got an invite to the combine from all that. Cody's already got the invite to the combine, which is going to be a lot of fun to see. I believe that's end of the month. I want to say end of February, and then right before March Madness really gets going, because the NFL's got to be in the news. They don't want to conflict with March Madness, but that's going to be great for Cody. This award's great for him too. They do play tomorrow is the game. If you're looking for it, if you wanted to watch it and see Cody out there for the national team on the Senior Bowl, that game is tomorrow. I believe it's at 1:30 on NFL Network. You can watch it there. So that's the time I believe it's on. We'll confirm that for you here in just a bit. I just looked it up. It says Saturday, February 4th, 1:30 p.m. on NFL Network. So there you go.
Watch the game, and also the Combine, end of February, starts February 28th through March 6th.
Still out there in Indy?
Yes, as of right now. I know they were flirting with the idea of moving it. I know Jerry Jones wants it in Dallas, blah, 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 blah. He can make money, and then so can the metro area. It's like, we don't need that in Dallas. I like it in Indy. You always hear about the spots that, like, the media goes to, the scouts go to, the players.
I wouldn't mind if they moved it around, like, every year. Not just move it to Dallas and keep it in Dallas. I don't care about that. Helping out Jerry Jones doesn't need more money. But I think fans are allowed to go into it, I believe. Are they?
Not into the stadium.
Not into the stadium at all? Oh,
nope.
Okay. I know there's obviously restricted media areas, but I thought maybe they could go in there a little bit. It'd be cool to move it around every year. Make there a fan zone or something where you can watch it from a distance. Can't get close or be close to where the GMs and the scouts and stuff are, but you can maybe be on the opposite side of the stadium, just kind of watch it going on or something.
Just have that. Cool. Maybe the Minnesota Vikings can give away a NFL Combine team experience. I'm in there with the player meetings, so then I'm listening to the Vikings talking to Hendon Hooker about when they're going to draft him, obviously in the third round here.
Yeah, I'll draw something up on the whiteboard and have Hendon Hooker take me through this play. Yeah,
I'll be the trick question guy. He thinks like I'm a front office guy, and I'm like drawing up a fake play. It's like, what's all this stuff? And it's just like,
in order to do that, you have to run a sub 540.
I could do that.
You ain't doing it.
I can still do that. I don't know how you don't have confidence in me. I can definitely do sub 540.
Have you even practiced yet?
Not yet. It's a long ways away. Pro Day's a long ways away for me.
Better start loosening up, getting limber.
Doing that right now, just
there you go.
Stretching out back and forth.
Tell you from a former athlete that pulled his hamstring twice last summer. That stuff goes away pretty quick when you stop stretching and warming up. So.
I've never had a serious athletic injury. Never pulled a hammy. I sprained my knee one time.
A couple of cracked ribs once. That's about as bad as I got. Yeah.
Were you able to breathe?
It took a little while to get the wind back in my sails, so to speak. But yeah.
How did that happen?
Just playing soccer as a goalie, stretched out to make a save. The guy went to kick the ball as I went to push the ball away. So I pushed the ball away. He misses the ball. The follow through, of course, then goes right to the extended arm, the exposed rib area.
I was thinking maybe the ball actually just was kicked so hard and hit you in the ribs, but a foot to the ribs sounds even more painful.
I had a concussion on that. Guy kicked the ball right to my face. Got me a concussion once. Yeah, that one wasn't fun either, but the ribs hurt more in the moment, I would say.
Did the face ball go out of the net?
Nope, save. Yep, out for a corner kick.
Worth it.
Exactly. Didn't give up a goal on either one of the big injuries, so I guess you could say worth it on that one, but make sure you stretch because you ain't getting sub 5 on a 40. I wasn't dumb enough to say that.
I am fast.
I might even not give myself sub 6 anymore. The last year plus been a little rough on the old diet, so we got to fix that thing here. But in doing that with one of our buddies out there, Mr. Chase Morlock, former Bisonman, trying to whip me back into shape over these last couple of weeks or so. But a lot of fun here on the show today. Again, Senior Bowl coming up on Saturday. You can watch it on NFL Network. I believe 1:30 is when that thing gets going tomorrow. So you can watch Cody Mauch there, who's just been named Practice Player of the Week on the national team offensive line, and he would still look absolutely amazing in purple.
Yes.
Just saying Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, let's get that thing done.
The red hair and the purple would look great. Throwing it back to our conversation with Cordell Volson, Brian Smith on the Facebook stream, brought to you by Horsch Farming with Passion.
There you go.
Nailed
online, Horsch.com.
Brian Smith is agreeing with Cordell. Chili is not all that good, but I don't know if he means chili in general or Skyline chili. I'm assuming he means Skyline chili because that's what we're talking about. Chili in general is wonderful.
I mean, I would assume what Brian's saying is just chili in general.
Because Cordell was talking about Skyline chili.
And there is a difference. I don't know what the difference is, but there is a distinct difference on them. Obviously, one of the differences is they put it on everything out there. Not just chili dogs, but on spaghetti, other hoagie rolls, it's all sorts of weird stuff. But they'll put their chili on. But there's something different with the actual ingredients in Skyline chili compared to just the chili if you Google chili recipe and make something.
Spaghetti and chili sounds like a good mixture to me.
Yeah, just sounds
I would eat that.
Spaghetti and meatballs, basically.
I'd take that.
Meatballs are more ground up. I would take it too. I mean, I just love anything with chili. I'm a huge chili fan.
Let's see if we can get it mailed here. Mail it to Bison 1660.
I don't think it would taste as good after mailing it here, to be quite honest with you. Anything else you've seen social media from the Senior Bowl? Cody Mauch out there doing some more practice stuff today. Obviously, the big news, he's the Practice Player of the Week. That's great news for him. Voted on by his peers, which means a lot. I don't think the end of the first round's out of the question anymore at all for one Cody Mauch. Made that mistake now twice with Cordell Volson and Cody Mauch. But anything else we've seen on social media for Cody?
Nothing else, just continued praise that he's been very, very consistent, and that's what we like to see. Cody Mauch, great finisher. We've seen good feet. The footwork of one Cody Mauch has been talked about many, many times by the people of Twitter, whether they are fans of teams or actual writers that are at Mobile. But a lot of praise out on social media right now for Cody.
Good work. Love to see it. I can also confirm via the text line, we were talking about you and Mai's offensive prolificacy in high school on the basketball court. We were both described as scrappy or hard workers, which is never a good thing. It's a good thing, but it shouldn't be the first thing out of the coach's mouth. I can confirm that Brad Jones was, and I quote, a bucket in high school. So Brad Jones was a bucket on the basketball court. Don't know if he still is or not. Don't know how the jump shot's looking now with a couple of kids in the fold, but Brad Jones confirming to us via the text line that he was a bucket.
I bet he gets practice. He's just shooting diapers right into the garbage.
Yeah.
Getting practice with that.
Yeah.
I bet it's still there.
It's all form. It's really what it comes down to. Just keep that form consistent. So Brad Jones, making sure to let us know that. Maybe have to have Brad on here. We do have a basketball hoop on the premises here at Radio FM Media. So maybe get him doing a little free throw competition. Me, you, and Bradley Jones, the White Shadow. We'll take a break, then we'll come back. Final segment for us on the other side. And we got to do it. Micah Bindi is going to be putting on the future goggles, telling us, predicting the future of the sports world for next week when we come back here on The Insiders.
The most complete Bison coverage in the region. Your Bison Nation station.
You are deep in thought, which is always dangerous.
Bison 1660.
Theraldson Ethanol, the ethanol plant located in Castleton, is accepting applications for a process operator. Work 4 days on, 4 days off, night and day swing shifts. Applicant must have a general understanding of process and operating procedures and a willingness to learn procedures for the ethanol industry. Theraldson Ethanol offers on-the-job training and an excellent benefits program. Email your resume to hr@theraldsonethanol.com or apply in person at 3549 153rd Avenue Southeast in Castleton.
Hi, I'm Grant Nelson, NDSU Bison basketball player. Whether it's playing basketball or driving in my car, I want to do everything to the best of my ability, on the court and off the court. So when I'm in the car, I up my game with the Drive for Less program from Nodak Insurance. I could save up to 30% on my premium just for driving safely. To me, that's a slam dunk. Download the Nodak Insurance app today.
When you're in love and ready for that next big step, celebrate with the perfect ring that says, I choose you. At Wimmer's Diamonds, our jewelry experts will help you find the engagement ring that says, I want to spend my life with you. The ring that declares commitment. The ring that has her or him saying yes. At Wimmer's Diamonds, we believe in love, now and forever. Located at 4582 32nd Avenue South in Fargo.
The new year brings new goals. This is Scott Zolonic with Cornerstone Bank. This is a great time to review your ag operation financing for the year. Cornerstone Bank offers an experienced team that you can turn to as you navigate through 2023. We're a locally owned and managed community bank. We've been specializing in ag banking for generations. Whether you're looking to save, borrow, or spend, at Cornerstone Bank, we find the best financial options for business, ag operations, and your personal needs. Come see us at Cornerstone Bank.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
And it's booked. Wait, what if my flight gets canceled or the room is terrible? Ugh, what am I doing? Travel always has specials on dream trips. They do corporate travel, honeymoons, everything. I'm booking with Travel just to be safe. This week's Travel hot deal of the week is Cabo San Lucas. Fly from Minneapolis to Cabo and stay 5 nights all inclusive at the Reuse Santa Fe, March 1st to the 6th for $12.96 per person. Call Travel at 492-5000 or online at travelgroup.com.
Businesses should know that Consolidated Communications has the only data center in the FM area that is SOC 2 certified. That means Consolidated has tested reliable systems in place to protect your valuable data. That's more important than ever with today's security concerns. Many business insurance companies require SOC certification at data storage facilities. You should work with a local data center that is SOC 2 certified. For scalable, cost-effective data center solutions for your changing business needs, go to consolidated.com/data center.
Independence means everything to the people with intellectual and developmental disabilities that Red River Human Services supports. It's the foundation of their mission, the emotion in their work, and the reason they exist. Your gift on Giving Hearts Day creates independence and brings joy and dignity beyond measure to the people Red River Human Services supports. Please consider a gift on Giving Hearts Day, February 9th. Visit givingheartsday.org and search Red River Human Services. That's givingheartsday.org.
Don't let your profits get stuck in your truck this spring. Dirt, rock, let it slide with Super Slide. Super Slide is a plastic, non-stick, self-lubricating, and seamless liner that eliminates haulback in your dump box or dump trailer. Super Slide is available in various grades, widths, and thicknesses, and Horn Plastics can have you in and out in no time. Get your new liner now to ensure you maximize productivity and profitability in 2023. Super Slide from Horn Plastics, created and preferred for every job. Visit hornplastics.com to schedule your installation.
Hey, Bison Nation, this is NDSU quarterback Cam Miller.
This one is a keeper by Miller, left side touchdown.
And you're listening to The Insiders on Bison 1660.
Earlier this week, we had Cam Miller on the program. That was Cam Miller bringing us back from break. Looking forward to seeing Cam spring ball. Spring ball is what, like month, 6 weeks away from getting going?
It's not too far. It'll sneak up on us.
Oh, it absolutely does. Just like baseball. Baseball is like 4 days. And I think baseball gets going against Sacramento State. Softball the same way. They're just days away, single digits away from getting the season going for NDSU softball. We're going to have Darren Mueller on the program next week. Try and line that one up for us. Got, of course, on Monday, Mr. Dexter Warner. Call him the Windex man. Cleans the glass.
Cleans the glass.
Windex Dexter Warner will be joining us on Monday. A whole bunch of other guests reaching up to some more NFL draft writers, people who are at the Senior Bowl. Tell us more about Cody Malk, who is the practice player of the week for the national team there at the Senior Bowl. And this hour of the Insiders on a Friday brought to you by Wimmer's Diamonds, a local family-owned jeweler serving and believing in this community for over 100 years. Stop in and see them at their new showroom, 4582 32nd Avenue South in Fargo. Okay, a couple minutes left on the program to round out the week. And this is where on a Friday we're going to let Micah Bindi put the future goggles on and tell us a little bit about the future of the sports world. Got a couple of questions we'll ask you here. Got any music for us? There we go. It's worthy of music, I think.
We'll get an open if it's successful.
If it's successful.
If it doesn't crash and burn.
If you're accurate with this as much as you are the parlays, maybe this is a one and done segment for you.
Yeah.
But we have a couple of things. We'll let you predict the future. This is just for like what we're going to be talking about on Monday and Tuesday. First one for you, Vikings defensive coordinator. Been kind of slow, haven't heard much about it. Put the future goggles on. What will we be hearing about the Vikings defensive coordinator search come next Monday, Tuesday?
Next Monday, we will hear nothing still because we're still waiting on the Colts. The Colts might be going through the process of a third round of interviews. And, well, Brian Flores is possibly up for a head coaching job. So is
want
to make sure I pronounce his name correctly.
Probably won't. It's okay.
Probably still won't. But then the third, Desai. Those seem like the top three candidates for the DC. I would prefer Brian Flores, but we're still waiting on the Colts to get their stuff together because they don't know. They might just end up choosing Jeff Saturday.
Might do like a fifth round of interviews. Just keep this thing going until you get to like June or July after the NFL draft.
Just keep messing up other NFL teams' schedules.
By the way, Brian Flores did get an interview I heard with the Broncos for their defensive coordinator position, which I wasn't sure if that was going to be open or not. Sounds like at least getting some interviews done for it, which means it could be open there with Sean Payton going to join George Payton, the GM, in Denver. Okay, bunch of quarterbacks on the move. Put the future goggles on. What will we be talking about on Monday when it comes to Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers will continue to say cryptic messages on the Pat McAfee show on Aaron Rodgers Tuesday.
Real gutsy call on that one.
Oh, yeah, well, that's just what's going to happen. Yeah. He's going to continue to say, well, I'm not having any conversations, and then the Packers are apparently having conversations with their teams about trading him to the AFC, but Aaron Rodgers is going to be quiet for the first couple weeks of February.
All quiet on the Rodgers front. Okay. How about Derek Carr? Coming up to the point where, remember Kirk Cousins signed with the Vikings during Super Bowl week? That news broke during Super Bowl week a couple of years back now. Any news that we'll hear on Derek Carr, who has to be traded really by the end of the league year, I believe, before his contract becomes guaranteed with the Raiders for next season?
We're going to hear some rumors that Derek Carr and the Jets have mutual interest in each other. There's going to be some mutual interest. So Derek Carr possibly going to the Jets, but there are just going to be conversations starting to be had that start of Super Bowl week with Derek Carr and the Jets.
It'd be kind of a fun. There's a lot of headlines you can do with Carr versus Jet, by air or by land, something like that.
The Jet Car flying the Jets to the playoffs.
Sure, that was a really good one. Yeah, that was very well put together. Derek Carr maybe going to the Jets. I think him or a sneaky team, also the Saints, maybe getting involved in the quarterback sweepstakes because they got like 5 nobodies basically. Andy Dalton, Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston, all that kind of stuff. Not doing too well out there in New Orleans. Next one for you. What are we going to be talking about on Monday when it comes to the Minnesota Twins?
The Minnesota Twins. The headline will be top 10 ERA team. That's what I'm going to predict that right now, that the Twins will have a starting pitching rotation that ends in the top 10. I'm predicting that right now. It is February 3rd. So by the end of the season, the Twins will have a top 10 pitching ERA for starters.
Starters, not the bullpen. Starting pitching. Starters in the rotation. A top 10 ERA.
They better if they traded away Luis Arraez.
Yeah, that's true. Who, by the way, won his arbitration. He made $6 million this year with the Florida Marlins. Last one for you. Minnesota Timberwolves, without Cat, had some success here. Anthony Edwards snubbed from the All-Star game. Didn't get on the All-Star reserve list, which is ridiculous in my opinion. What's the headline we'll be reading on Monday as the Timberwolves have one more game this week and just beat the Golden State Warriors. Was that yesterday? No, the day before yesterday. I got a win there. They are at home against the Magic today. And then on Sunday, they host the Denver Nuggets. What's the headline on Monday?
Wolves reaching within howling distance of the top seeds in the West.
Ooh, there you go. I like that one. Little winning streak here.
I'm believing it. Okay. Anthony Edwards is playing like an all-star. He shouldn't have been snubbed from that all-star game. And it's officially been Ant's team. Because Cat has been away with whatever injury he has.
They win both of these games, they could be the 4 seed by the end of the weekend. Only a half game back of the 4 seed, Dallas Mavericks right now. Only 3 games back of third place with the Sacramento Kings. There you go. Future goggles from Micah Bindi on the program. We'll see how accurate those were when we come back in on Monday. Again, this hour of The Insider is brought to you by Wimmer's Diamonds. They've watched you fall in love and stay in love, providing beautiful reminders to celebrate all your special moments. Wimmer's Diamonds, 4582 32nd Avenue South in Fargo. That will do it for us today. Big thanks to Sam Herder for popping by, and, of course, Cordell Volson. Absolutely loved that, and looking forward to his second year in Cincinnati and in the NFL. As we say goodbye to end out the week, let's do what we've done all week long. More tickets for NDSU women's basketball. We've got 2 tickets, 2 2-packs, I should say, so 4 tickets. 2 pairs of tickets. The callers number 4 and callers number 8. Caller 4 and caller 8, you both win a pair of tickets. NDSU, SDSU, the game tomorrow, 1 p.m. Folks, get out there. Can't say it again, can't say it enough. Get out there, support these teams. They're the top 2 teams in the Summit League. Let's make sure we get out there and pack that place Saturday at 1 p.m. Caller 4 and caller 8 right now win 2 tickets to Bison and the Jacks, 701-476-1660. Horns up, go Bison. We'll talk with you guys on Monday.
Rick Electric wants to say thanks for a great 2022 and looks forward to serving you and all new customers in the new year. Plus, Rick Electric wants to say thanks for voting them the best electrical contractor in the Red River Valley. Since 1964, Rick Electric has been serving homeowners and businesses with troubleshooting,